You know, it's so funny. You're trying to imagine yourself back in 2002 listening back to this interview and having your eyeballs pop out, right?
Oh yeah, would have if you'd told me that I would be doing this, I would have called you a liar and
Yeah, yeah, it's funny.
that.
It's funny. What is do you say it Toulon?
Toulon.
Toulon. Okay, what is Toulon like? I was just recently, like I said, we were in Saint Tropez, and I have a friend who lives in Monaco
Okay.
because he made $1 billion making a movie,
Right.
and he was, hiding the income, I suppose, or whatever they do
Right.
there.
Right.
So we went the bluff or the cliffs that sort of like overlook Monaco on the
Oh
French
yeah.
side. What does your neighborhood look like? Is it chateaus? Is it villages?
Toulon is kind of a mid-sized town. It's actually the second largest port of the Navy. So in the old days, Toulon was kind of a bad girl. All the ships would come into town and you'd have the sailors. And we still actually have kind of an old red light district, although there's not so much of that going on anymore. But Toulon has amazing fountains. I think there are like 25 fountains that are from everywhere from the 15th to the 18th century. We have little squares that they're made of marble and they're surrounded by sidewalk cafes. We have concerts. We have the opera house that was designed by the same guy who did the Paris Opera House. So we have theater. We have 2 music festivals a year. We have concerts. Joan Baez, I think, was just here. We have the open air market. The harbor is right here. The beach is 15 minutes away by foot. In the center part of Toulon, there's everything you need. I mean, that's why we don't use the car, because we can walk where we want to go. There's every kind of, they've got bike paths, there's hiking, there's mountain climbing, there's museums, there's a cultural center. I mean, it's just an amazing city. And what's really cool about it, and so anybody who's listening, you are not allowed to tell the rest of the world this. We're in the French Riviera, but we're the undiscovered city. Prices are not expensive here. I mean, you can still actually find a flat for around 150,000. They're going fast. And I mean, they go up. You can find really nice villas up along the top part of the Montferrand, which is the mountain here. You can find those, in the millions. So we have a little bit of everything, but it's actually affordable.
Now, did you decide to buy something or rent something?
I am still renting because I will tell you it's very complicated. It's not as bad as Italy, but it's very complicated to buy something here. And there are a whole lot of rules and regulations, and the prices can change. And there's sometimes, like in Italy, there's money that you pay under the table because it's complicated.
It's very under the Tuscan sun, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. So I'm renting, but I'm in a place where we're 5 minutes from the opera, we're 10 minutes from the open air market, I'm 15 minutes from the harbor. And
what could somebody expect to spend? Let's say they said, I want to give it a try. I want to live there for a year and I just want to rent. For something, let's say decent. What do you think they'd pay rent?
Oh, really, it's going to depend on which part of the city you look in. But you can find something fairly good, a 2 or 3 bedroom flat that takes up, because we've got the 3rd floor of the 18th century building that we're in, for about 1,500. Now that's euros.
That's
but
great.
That's not bad.
No. So you say that you don't have to be a millionaire to live a jet set lifestyle. Tell me what you mean by that.
I think for everybody, the jet set lifestyle is a little bit different. I think the first thing that you have to do is you have to figure out your end vision, what it is that you want to do. I mean, when I was 14, I thought I was going to be a starving artist in a garret in Paris, in love with a Frenchman, and sitting at sidewalk cafes and learning how to smoke those thin little cigars. And really suffering for my work as I
By
wrote.
the way, you are a writer. I mean, you had me at hello on that one.
Thanks. But honestly, I love the French Riviera. I love having this huge flat. I love being able to take the train to Paris when I want to, but being in the center of everything else. I mean, I can drive. If we want to drive to Italy, we can drive to Italy. You can get to Spain. You can almost get anywhere in a day, day and a half. And here, the thing that I really love about the lifestyle here is that people work to live. They do not live to work. And so I think for the jet set lifestyle, the first thing you have to do is figure out what it is that means a jet set lifestyle to you. Because, you know, what you and Kim are doing, I'm a little old to go to the beach parties and run around in a bikini. Although I'll tell you, there are women in their 60s that do it and look fabulous, and I'd like to hit them over the head with a rock.
How old are you now, Cheryl, if you don't mind me asking?
I just turned 51.
Okay, well, I'll be 44 this week, so you know, I get it. I get it. It gets a little tougher.
Yeah, it does. But, I mean, there is something for everybody, and you just have to figure out what your dream is and what you really want, and then you just work your way backwards. I mean, you have to want it, because it's not going to come to you on a silver platter. And I'll tell you, it took me pretty much 6 years of working my behind off to get to the point where I really feel like I've finally come into what I'm supposed to be doing, which is writing, because I love it. And to be able to feel comfortable, I'm not worried anymore that something's going to yank the rug out from under me and my lifestyle is going to disappear.
Let's talk about that a little bit. You're spending time living life the way you want and that you're interested and passionate about, and boom, you know, your life explodes.
Exactly. Emphasize that enough. That is so, I really do believe that's the key.
Yeah, and I think that some people are not willing to, and if you can get them to say it, you know, they say, well, then you get all the BS that happens. Like, well, I can't do that. I got kids, or I can't do that. I've got this. You know, those kind of things. So, if I were to say to your kids now, kids, pack up. We're moving back to Utah. They'd say what?
One of them would say, "Gee, Mom, have a great time and write when you get home." And the other one would say, "Mom, can I help you pack your bags?"
Wow. Okay, so you got a split right there.
I do have a split, and that's something people have to think about too, is when you're going after your dream, you really, really need to have your family or your partner or, you know, who's ever in your life. It really makes a huge difference if they support you. And even my son, who would like to go back home and would help me pack, he still supports me that I want to be here and that I'm doing what I do. And it makes a huge, huge difference.
Well, Cheryl, I know that you have 65 people that are about to walk into a dinner party that you're running, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart, sincerely, for being as candid as you have been and as inspiring as you have been. So thank you.
Totally welcome. I had a great time.
And if people want to get a hold of you and, you know, what you do and kind of keep up with you, maybe a Twitter follow or something like that, how do they do it?
Find me at Cheryl, Cheryl, just Cheryl Antier, A-N as in Nancy, TIER.com.
Perfect. Thanks again, Cheryl.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
That's it for this episode of the Lifestyle Design Confessions podcast. Remember, if you want to get a jump start on creating the income to live your jet set life using our proven system, you can claim your risk-free trial membership to Jet Set Money by going to getjetsetmoney.com. And remember, excuses are over. It's time to live.
हुस्न दबार मुंडिया